Loktar, my friends, the Horde calls for prestigious and trustworthy men-at-arms, and our hero aims in this story to be the best of the best. But to get to the top, you do have to start at the bottom. In the last chapter of our adventure, the Durotar Diaries, we left our hero pondering why he'd spent 3 days in a barren wasteland. Well, today he'll begin to wonder if he'll ever escape, as he journeys through the Barrens and emerges in the Stormtalon Mountains. But I can tell there's something on your mind. You are now witnessing footage of Rorgork fighting demons in a dark and perilous cavey dungeon. Well, in this chapter of our story, we follow our orcish boy's adventures leading up to his first dungeon run. And of course, I wouldn't leave you hanging with that, so you bet I'm going to dive into the dungeon as well. To start today's adventure, we need first venture into a new and perilous zone. This zone, as previously mentioned, is called the Barrens. Oh great, another bland, desolate wasteland for me to spend days of my life in. What a joyous cause for celebration. The main area where you'll be spending most of your time in this hellhole is called the Crossroads. This place is, well, it's a crossroads, but with a twist. It's a town on a crossroads. Working my way into the Barrens, I accepted the quest to go to the aforementioned town, and of course the first thing I did when I got there was to find the Flight Master. This is a rather embarrassing point for me, as for the life of me I just couldn't find the bastard. One thing you probably should know about this area is that it's run by one of the most stubborn assholes of an orc. She is hell-bent on her warriors being tip-top of the notch. Of course Rorgork is just that, but she's not going to take me at face value now, is she? Like I said, she's a stubborn asshole of an orc. So she of course has me go out and do yet more menial tasks. This time I need to go kill some plainstriders and take their beaks. For anyone who doesn't know what a plainstrider is, it's essentially an ostrich but with a more rounded head and less feathers. The annoying thing about quests in Classic and TBC, in fact it actually even carries over to retail. Anyway, the annoying thing is that when you kill these animals, all mobs that 100% have beaks or claws or feathers or whatever the hell the actual drop is, it still happens to be a random drop chance to even get the item. Anyway, ran over, I completed the quest and turned it back into Miss Stubborn Orc herself. After the plainstriders, I took a flight back to Rorgork to visit my class trainer. You see, at level 10 as a warrior, you get your first quest to receive a level appropriate weapon. For this quest, I have to first head to the bridge in the Barrens. You see, the guy I've been sent to see is trying to test my mettle before sending me to the next part of the questline. To test my sturdiness, I must first prove myself by killing some thunderhides. Let me tell you, this is a fine breath of fresh air as opposed to retail Warcraft. As in retail, these wonderful creatures are all dead, submerged underwater, all drowned and lootless thanks to the Cataclysm. You see, in Cataclysm, Durotar and the Barrens were heavily affected with floods, and well, for the Barrens, it was pretty much torn asunder. Anyway, as I said, I need to kill some thunderhides, and whilst doing this, I also found a chest to loot. Fun little quest this, but easy nonetheless. So obviously I head back and turn it in. Next up on the questline, Rorgork has to venture deeper into the Barrens and up a mountain. Once at the peak, I had to seek out an old hermit who's living out his days blind and alone. Well, I say blind, but technically he just has bad eyesight, as you find out through the quest's flavour text. Anyway, Mr. Eyesight tells us that some Quillboars stole some of his steel, which apparently he needs to make our new weapon. So guess who has to go and retrieve it? Well, it's not going to be the blind hermit, is it? So of course I set off down the mountain, and after a couple of corpse runs and killing a few Quillboars, eventually I return with the steel and retrieve a wonderful axe for my troubles. As a famous orc once said, "Meniality is back on the menu, boys." As for my next quest, I've been ordered by a lazy oaf of an orc. I'm seeing some sort of pattern emerge here, although I can't quite place my finger on it. Anyway, the lazy orc has sent me back to Rorgork to deliver some meat to the innkeeper. So, yet again, I jump on a wind rider and go to the inn. Then of course it's back to another lazy orc sending me back where I started, this time with a letter to give to a butcher who gave me meat. Now look, I get why these quests exist, especially in this case. You see, this quest is designed to get you used to using the Wind Rider from this specific location, and also to head somewhere, and also to familiarise yourself with new areas, but still it does feel a little lazy. Earlier I'd received a pretty straightforward request, or straightforward as it seemed, to collect the heads of some raptors, and remember what I was saying earlier about drop rates on things that shouldn't have drop rates? Well yeah, that definitely came into play with this one. Anyway, I'll let you watch me finish this quest in time-lapse form.
Blood and thunder.
So look, I was going to show a quest where I was tasked with killing some centaurs in a forested area and sort of have to collect their braces here, but I kind of lost the footage, so yeah. So instead, I'll let you watch Rorgork die a couple of times as a sort of make-up attempt to you guys. I don't think he'll be too happy with me though, he likes me to cut them sort of things out. So it's time to wrap up our time here in Barrens, and to do this I need to head to Ratchet. You see, in Ratchet there happens to be a kill order out for someone, a human no less, and we all know that Rorgork loves to kill puny humans. This human is also a special kind of scum, as he happens to be a pirate captain, and he's messing with the 2 expansion too early goblins. And we can't have our money-grubbing friends losing it all before we get paid now, can we? So the obvious course of action is to take this bounty and fucking deliver. The pirate scum are located at the cove to the south of Ratchet, so I'm going to head there now. Rorgork, as expected, was not just out for the captain's head, he was out for blood. So off he goes, killing pirates as he's on his way and looking for the target, only to get killed by said captain's entourage. So yet another corpse source later, I draw the captain away from the group and cut off his sorry head. Taking this back to Ratchet, it's time to head the hell out of the Barrens. In this, the penultimate part in Chapter 2 of an Orc's life, we take our Service of the Horde west into Stormtalon Mountains. This was a brief stint, but it did involve culling some cows. I imagine they had mad cow disease or something, so it was really only humane to do it. Jokes aside, some Tauren had presumably been exiled from Morgor, so had in some probable form of rage and despair, decided to besiege Stormtalon and started overrunning camps and villages. So like I said, a cull is in order. I really wish that Tauren dropped beef in this game. Oh well, I guess that's too much to ask really. Anyway, I take my time enjoying each kill, imagining the tasty beef burgers I'd rather be eating, seeing it in their faces, drooling over the thought of milking the cow before the kill and making some cheese to layer on top of that burger. I really want a burger now. Anyway, you know what happens next. A turning request. I have 2 more things on the agenda in Stormtalon before it's time for me to run you through that earlier promised Ragefire Chasm run that I did, and those things start with one last quest. You see, yet again we're tasked with making some burgers, I mean culling some cows, I mean killing some Tauren. These Tauren are protecting some sort of leader, and our end goal is to kill him and a few of his protectors. To do this, I head up a cliff in order to get to their camp. Taking out the protectors was a pretty simple but menial task, but the chieftain sort of figure was a tad harder. He even managed to get me to do another corpse run, and let me tell you, it's a long corpse walk in Stormtalon. Anyway, easy enough, I kill the leader the second time round, and then I get handed a couple more protectors to kill, so then you know what's next. Quest completed. The final thing to do in Stormtalon was simply grab the flight path. So now let's head back to Orgrimmar and go to Ragefire Chasm. So, like I said, this was my first dungeon running classic, and let me just say, it was absolute fucking awesome. advertising in trade chat to look for a group, and then actually communicating in the instance was amazing. Ragefire Chasm, for all of you that don't know because you've just teleported there in retail, is located underneath Orgrimmar, and you can get there by going through the drag in Orgrimmar. The quests for Ragefire Chasm are not actually included in this video, as I completed them a little later. In fact, I forgot about them to do in this video. But the essential premise is to kill demons to prove the Burning Blade has infiltrated the Orgrimmar Inner Circle. These quests are given to you by Thrall himself, hence the thumbnail. Anyway, the dungeon is pretty much a cavern full of lava and demons, along with a few Burning Blade soldiers and warlocks to go along with it. It's super fun run to do, and you should probably wait until around about level 14 or higher to attempt it. The layout itself is a big loop of up and down ramps, where you are aiming to look for the demon overlords and kill them. The thing with Classic is there isn't actually a map to guide you through the dungeon, so you need to figure it out on the fly. It took us probably around half an hour to complete, and I'd say that's a pretty average time for this dungeon. Well, that's it for our hero's adventure in the Barrens. What will happen next time? Will he get his burger? Will he get drunk and kill a night elf? Who knows? All we do know is that Rorgork will return in Chapter 3 of An Orc's Life. If you have enjoyed this video, guys, please take the time to watch Chapter 1 of the series, and also hit like, comment, and subscribe. It is the most helpful thing you can do for the channel, is hitting that subscribe button. So until next time, guys, me and Rorgork say peace out.